Hello all and welcome to Shatter Our Souls with Novaria. Today we are taking a bit of a detour from our regular scheduled programming to take you down into the Gerudo Desert. Now, reality is that there's been something that's been bugging me for a while, and it's that there are a couple shrines that are locked behind fighting the Yiga clan, specifically Kakariko Village's side quests. Now, theoretically, the easiest way to deal with that is to just deal with the Yiga clan in and of itself. So, to do that, we're gonna start a little bit of a main quest here, shall we?
Yet another traveler. How did you get in here? Oh,
Anywho,
seems you have something rather interesting there.
the point of this particular side quest is that the Gerudo are dealing with Boris, the divine beast of the desert capable of controlling thunder, and more specifically lightning, and the Gerudo are struggling to deal with it themselves, because lo and behold, the artifact that they need to be able to even approach the divine beast in and of itself was stolen by the Yiga clan. The Yiga, for those of the uninitiated, were created specifically for Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom as a anti-Sheikah. Effectively, while the Sheikah clan is focusing very heavily on preventing the resurrection of Ganondorf, or in many cases, building up the world to be able to handle the situations that arise due to the curse of demise, the Yiga are actively working to enforce the curse of demise, believing that the curse itself and that demise slash Ganon slash Calamity Ganon at this point are a cataclysmic event, and that those who aid in its return will be blessed or spared. This is kind of the crux of their main belief system within the Yiga clan as a whole. The big bad evil guy of the Yiga clan is a funny bounce around type of guy by the name of Master Koga. Koga and the Yiga clan have a few major weaknesses. Notably that they are a little bit on the weaker side. They're all human. But one of their primary concerns that they have is that there's only really two tiers of Yiga. There is their average everyday bowman, their average everyday swordsman, which uses a sickle instead of a sword, and then there's Koga, who stands at the pinnacle of what a Yiga can accomplish, but he doesn't really pass anything on to the clan as a whole to help his people survive, or dare I say, defeat Link. So he's kind of a really bad leader. But because they're aiding in the resurrection or return of Calamity Ganon, their goal, for lack of a better solution or statement, is to kill Link. And in that endeavor, they're actually not half bad. They're just not very smart and don't necessarily do it right. They end up being very... what's the word? They get themselves in a lot of situations that would be otherwise impassable. Link is by far and away one of the more potent individuals to fight against, and as I stated prior, they don't exactly do the whole teaching one another thing very well. Now, in Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity, there was another Yiga clan master of sorts by the name of Suga. Suga was... how do I want to word this? He was probably one of the strongest characters that you could get in Age of Calamity. The reason behind his raw strength actually came from the fact that his core ability was a parry. And a lot of characters, Yiga or Link or whomever, kind of relied very heavily on certain types of abilities. But this guy just goes in and brawls his way through most opponents, including Lionel's, just for the sake of it. He's incredibly powerful. And it makes him kind of a red herring of sorts. The whole point of him is that he is intended to be Master Koga's right-hand man. And he does so in many ways, shapes, and forms. To unlock said character, you effectively have to keep him alive during a side mission that was intended to kill him. But I suppose I'm getting a little far ahead of myself here. The point I want to bring up with this is the Yiga are very organized, just not very well put together. They know what they want, they know how to get it, they know who is standing in their way, as well as, generally speaking, continuously trying to push themselves to be better, stronger, or, dare I say, even more well-rounded. 9 times out of 10. There's that 1 time out of 10 that they really, mess up, but that's par for the course for them. So, I don't want to use any of my red chew jelly if I don't need to, so we're just gonna light a fire. Yeah, there we go. That totally works. That's exactly the way we're gonna get through this. So, the Yiga hideout also has a lot of extra money. Now, dealing with the fact that we don't really have a whole lot of content left to tear through, we're going to be using every single source of content, every single source of armor, you name it, to really dig in and make sure that we have everything we need to be as potent as possible. And one of those things we need is about 10,000 rupees, which seems like a lot, because it is. But that 10,000 rupees is going to be dealing with getting a singular decent set of armor to deal with all of the various Calamity Ganon forms in one go. And I'll be honest, the battle with Calamity Ganon itself is going to be really weird, because I feel as though it is not possible without a shield. But I also know that I've been wrong before, on numerous occasions. So, I want to take the opportunity as it is, and try and see what I can get involved in. Try to see what changes or what is actually possible. Anywho, we have one of the Gerudos stuck in here named Barta. Barta was supposed to end up in the Yiga clan hideout specifically in order to find a way in, figure out what's going on, and maybe even collect the helm. However, ended up getting captured. But it does not bode well, because the Yiga clan are now on quote-unquote high alert. They know there's something on. They know there's something off about the situation. So they're kind of taking shifts and protecting themselves as best they can. Which doesn't bother us at all, because these guys are kind of bad at their jobs. If, for whatever reason, you get caught, it'll be a massive battle before they end up throwing you in jail. One hit, if you take one hit in this area, you will be sent back to the beginning of this little gauntlet of stealth missions. Theoretically, that's all it'll end up being. But personally, I don't want to have to start this area over several times. So we're just going to hide away and pretend that there was nothing ever wrong. Following the path a little bit forward, we're going to head up into the top here. Partially because there is a surplus of mighty bananas. And I want to have enough food to hold off a couple of major events within the next little bit here. Notably, I'm going to be cooking everything to have a chance at beating all of the major tests of strength. Because all of the major tests of strength that we are going to be dealing with one after another are really, really difficult. And for an idea of how ridiculous this will become, effectively, the major tests of strength and moderate ones that we've been avoiding for the majority of the game are at a point where they're doable now. And I think that's a good thing. A challenge being doable, completable is intentional, that's the point. But due to the fact that this is, how do I want to word this? There's enough that can go wrong in these few circumstances that remain, and there's enough major problems that show up throughout the remainder of the game, that I want to be doubly sure that I have all of my ducks in a row. Because when you deal with the moderate tests of strength, and I'm going to use them as my kind of guidepost here, they have gotten smart enough to understand that you, the player, have more than enough skill to be able to beat a minor test. So the moderate ones try to up the ante by giving the little droids there an extra ability. A shield, a sword, an axe, something. Which is great. It makes the moderate tests stand out comparatively to the minor ones. But the major ones, those are where the money shot is. Major ones have far faster reaction time compared to the minor and moderate. Result of that is that fighting them with bombs is possible, but ill-advised. So we are going to be taking it down one area at a time, but it is definitely not the smart decision to go after it and fight it. Even one area at a time is kind of ridiculous. Anywho, welcome to the first and only main story boss that we are going to be able to defeat before Calamity Ganon. Welcome to the battle with the Yiga clan leader, Master Koga. Now, Koga is the type of guy that I didn't take seriously at first. He's... how do I word this? He's silly, he's goofy, he knows exactly what he is capable of, and knows that he is by far the greatest of the Yiga, but he is also very full of himself, very overconfident. And that is undoubtedly one of his downfalls. He wants to show off. He wants to be the very best, the greatest that ever has been and ever will be. Master Koga. And honestly, I'm pretty okay with that. So, fighting Koga, I had a few ideas of what we were up against. The first is that we need to make sure that we can actually deal damage to him. Which, looking at this, our bombs can go through his shield. But while he has his shield up, it looks like I can't actually do damage to him. So, we are gonna... Let's just test something else out here quick. He's dropped his shield, and I can do damage when his shield is dropped. Knowing that, there's hope. At least a little bit. All I gotta do is figure out timing, which admittedly is usually one of my weak points. Ew! It has been a long time since I fought Koga. I forgot that he drops his attacks on his head. So we're going to use his abilities against him, at least to the best of our ability. Which includes dropping bombs, his own attacks, etc. on his head, and seeing how far we can get with this. I'm still a little worried that there's going to be something that I cannot complete, but that's a concern for Lei right now. I forgot that he could fly over the pit. So we are going to see if we can even hit him over that pit there. Okay, so he does drop his shield, and we can hit him over the pit. Cool. If that's the case, then we are perfectly fine. He is absolutely toast. So we're just going to wait here, let him use his ability. Too quick. That's fine. Koga seems to be... He definitely has far more health than the rest of the Yiga clan as a whole, but he is far weaker in terms of generalized skill sets. I think that's a fair assessment to make about Koga. And down he goes. It'll be fine. Koga's also kind of meant to be a joke enemy. Not necessarily a meme boss or anything of that nature, but enough of a joke that he is not to be taken as seriously as some of the other bosses, like the various forms of Calamity Ganon. He's kind of there for the sake of comedic relief. And that's a good thing. The funny little ninja guy kind of works in his own favor to be a funny, ha-ha type of situation. I like that about him. But all good things must come to an end, right? And Master Koga is now in Phase 3. Phase 3, if my memory serves, he creates steel versions of his attacks, which are kind of our specialty to deal with. Bonk. And with that, Koga is effectively toast. There is literally nothing he can do to stop me at this point. So, we're gonna let him finish himself off. Anywho. You think I'm gonna let this stand, do you? Never! I almost lost my temper there. Oh, what a pain. I can't go out this way. What to do? Aha! I got it. Of course. And creates... I need to bust out my serious moves. A secret technique taught by my father's mother's father. This will be the end for you. And... poof. I do recall how this whole situation does end. And it's absolutely ridiculous. Maybe just a tad too big. You still over there? Well, no matter. Pretty soon you'll be gone. And not just from my line of sight. Only the leader of the Yiga clan can use this secret technique. It is the ultimate... oh no, no! Ah! I shall be remembered! The Yiga clan will track you to the ends of Hyrule! Yeah. Koga is silly. Now, don't worry, he's alive. He just fell into the depths where he remains for the entirety of probably about the 2-year time skip between the first and second, or this and the next game, Tears of the Kingdom. So given that we have officially beat the main task of today, I figure let's see just how far this Link character can go. Now, I had a suspicion from very early on that none of the 4 divine beasts would be beatable. And my suspicion rings true for 3 of the 4 at this moment. I cannot drop yellow chew jelly on top of divine beast Varuta, at least not while in the air. I cannot land on divine beast Varuta in order to drop the thingy things and a bomb on them to deal any damage to the 4, I suppose you can call them pillars or fuses. We also can't deliver bomb arrows to Vamedo because there are no bomb arrows to speak of. And I can't do the target practice. I can't use large weapons to move the whatchamacallits, the cannons to release Yonobo from his imprisonment in the side of a mountain, which means this is actually one of the furthest divine beasts that we can get to. Because, lo and behold, what does Riju want? Riju wants us to grab a sand seal and bomb arrows, which she provides, to fire at Von Naboris. Theoretically, that should be all there is to it. Anywho, enjoy this quick cutscene involving Lunk and our dear friend not Naburu, Urbosa.
Ah, well, you certainly got here fast. I should have expected as much, from the princess's own appointed knight. She was out on a survey all day today. Still as the sands now. So, spill it, boy. Have the 2 of you been getting along all right? It's okay, I know. Your silence speaks volumes. She gets frustrated every time she looks up and sees you carrying that sword on your back. It makes her feel like a failure when it comes to her own destiny. Don't worry, it's not like you carry blame in any of this. It's unfortunate. She's put in more than enough time. Ever since she was a young girl, she's gone through rigorous daily routines to show her dedication. She once passed out in the freezing waters trying to access this sealing power. And she has nothing to show for it. That's the motivation driving her research. I'd be doing the same thing. She really is quite special. You be sure to protect her with your life. It's quite the honor. The night brings a chill. It's probably time we take her in. Or...
Urbosa! What was that? Did you feel that? Wait, what? How did you... What are you doing here? What's so funny?
Anywho, Urbosa was actually a very close friend of the Hyrule royal family. So much so that her and Zelda had a very close relationship, almost like a aunt to Zelda herself. Zelda, at this point in time, at least that we saw, was struggling to unlock the power to seal away Ganon. Something that is very, very commonly stated that Zelda struggled with. In Breath of the Wild, she does unlock it, only after all 4 of the champions had fallen. The last remaining champion was Link. And Link fought to the bitter end to protect her. Ultimately, he failed in his task. And failing in his task, while it was unfortunate, was the very thing that pushed Zelda to the point of actually unlocking it. See, her problem was never that she was never good enough, was never capable. Her problem was that she was too in her head. Her problem was that she was too stuck on being afraid. She was scared of the what-ifs, the but-thens. And she could never really tap into it because all that was fueling her was anxiety, was fear. And in the moment that she truly needed it most, the moment that it truly mattered, she did it without a second hesitation. It was something that was intended to be instinctual, something that could be accessed or unlocked easily. Something that was, dare I say, programmed into her very DNA. And so as a result of it being something so instinctual, so natural, she couldn't do it because she was too focused on thinking about it. Now you see this a little bit in animation. Notably look at Goku. Goku in Dragon Ball struggles to unlock all of his potential when he's thinking about it. And so, if you were looking at the Tournament of Power within, Dragon Ball Super, Goku has the capability of unlocking Ultra Instinct, the natural state of the angels. But Vegeta, who is more tactical, more thoughtful in nature when it comes to his combat style, could not. And the reasoning is simply due to the fact that he was overthinking it. He couldn't not think about how he moved, how he reacted to each circumstance. He just does. Goku is more instinctual in nature, and so he could. Zelda is much like Vegeta in this case. She couldn't access this power that she was supposed to be able to access because, simply put, her power is instinctual in nature. Nothing will help her solve it. She's just supposed to do the thing and hope for the best. Anywho, Link here is kinda stuck in a bad situation. We know that there are 4 targets to hit, and depending on how this goes, we could see something rather potent come out of it. The first and foremost statement I need to make is Naboris is far faster than Link on a standard run. So we have to kind of catch it from in front of it, so to speak. Secondly, every single time we get struck by lightning, it'll take 1 cooked radish-ish of health away. Which, ow. That's a lot of damage in a very short span of time. This is intended to be done with a sand seal. But having attempted to use a sand seal without a shield, I know that it is 100% impossible to do it without a shield. That's just the nature of it. Which sucks. Ow. Thank you, Fairy, for healing me. So, we can't use the sand seal. Riju is programmed to follow your sand seal. meaning that the Thunderhelm that we just spent X amount of time looking for and trying to get for Reiju's use is also completely useless to us. Because lo and behold, the entire point of it, being that protective barrier during this battle, means absolutely nothing. Because we're still going to get struck by lightning numerous times. So that's great. But don't let that get you down. Because there's still more good news to come. In the form of more bad news. The fact is that we need to use bomb arrows on the feet to slow it down. And I figured bombs of any variety would do the trick. And I thought maybe I didn't hit it quite. Maybe I was too far away. There's no way that one didn't hit. So I tried again. It's impossible to deal damage to these without actually getting up close to it. Or without using the bomb arrows. It has to be direct damage. So, with that, we know without a shadow of a doubt that without the use of weapons, Vanaboris is also impossible. Which is a shame, because I was really looking forward to maybe getting something done. But I digress. It's the way it is. It's natural. It's consistent with everything we have known for the other 3 divine beasts. So, knowing that... Oh, come on! I'm trying to leave the arena. Please leave me alone, Naboris. No, no, no. Ow! Okay. Anyways. Now that that's done, we're gonna kind of escape this area and hope for the best, because Naboris is not slowing down, and there is literally nothing we can do to beat it right now. If you've been enjoying this so far, or have been curious about anything cropping up, I'd love if you left a comment down below. Next week, I am aiming towards the Faerun province, specifically going to be trying to go through the forested section, probably making the way toward Lurelin village. And once again, if you like what you see, are curious about where we're going next time and how much a Breath of the Wild is actually beatable without the use of standard weapons, I'd love if you left a subscribe and a like down below. Check in next week. Until then, I hope you all have a good one.